bro. So you press the record here,
Yeah.
and then you record it.
Yep.
Are you gonna send this to your editor or no?
Nah, we're just gonna put it out raw, you know?
Oh, deadass?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, go. Do your thing.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Anyways, hope you guys are doing good. I recently just went 10-0 in Swiss with Centurion out of all decks. And I thought it was a really good meta call for the format because Shifter, FUWALOS, and Pirellia, in my opinion, dominated the format. A lot of players are playing Tenpai, and I thought it was going to be the most represented deck. So I believe that in order to get through Swiss and to to have the best chance to do well in the YCS is to play a deck that did not care about any of those guys. No cap, literally round 2, round 3, I played against Tenpai, and they literally opened like the Shifter Pirellia FUWALOS combo. Like I was really like I literally looked at my opponent. I'm like, am I starting? Yeah, you are. I'm like, oh my goodness. So, but I play a deck that literally did not care about any of those. And that's why I thought it was a really really good option. But yeah, today guys, I'm gonna get right into the profile. But before I do, huge shout outs guys to the Team Samurai X1. I mean Supreme Pro. Huge shout outs to Supreme Pro guys. You already know, best sleeves in the game. If you guys are looking to upgrade your accessories or just to get your everyday sleeves for best tournament play, then definitely go check out texas1.com and use pack 10 for that exclusive 10% off. You know what I'm saying? And also guys, huge shouts to my Metafy and my inner circle, my classroom. You guys can find out in the description box below. But I actually released my deck list for this YCS prior for like I think about a week. And I gave people tips and why I decided to play Centurion. I went into like in depth for like an hour and a half in my Metafy inner circle tier list and just talked about the all that good stuff, right? So I was like, why I should play Centurion, why I think it's like a really good meta call and all of that. So yeah, definitely go check that out if you guys are interested in to elevate your gameplay and to be ahead of of the crowd. But let's get into the profile. Yeah, so decided to play Centurion. We're gonna start off with like the starters. So these are all one card combos. All the one card combos now end on like pretty much like double Blazar and 2 draws, which a lot of people think this deck is like shit, but in reality it actually does a lot for I guess like the current deck of the for the current format. So but yeah, you have 3 Primera, which is like this is like Rotas, and it searches any Centurion card in your deck. I like this card. This is probably my favorite starter. Mainly because when you get Furos or Pirellia or all that good stuff, this card can search you the Phalanx, so that under like you give your opponent like no draws when they Furos you, and this card can like search the trap to like have a form of interruption still. And then you have of course the 3 Chudea. This one, funny enough, is a pyro, so you can actually bonfire for it, which I actually did against Jesse actually. And Jesse was like, "Bro, you play bonfire?" I'm like, I know it feels kind of weird not searching saying I ash with bonfire, but yeah, Chude is really good. She can place herself and in the scale and as well alongside like any other Centurion monster in your deck. But yeah, these are all the one card combos. These are gonna be like the main Centurion monsters, right? So there's that, and then we have of course more one card combos. We have 3 stand-ups, guys. I promise you the collector is in my bag. I just didn't get it from my bag. Okay, do not judge. And then of course we have the 1 terraforming. Yeah, so these are also one card combos. The beautiful card about this card is that it cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. So Ogre was gaining a lot more popularity this YCS. But one of the things that you can do is you can activate this card can your opponent card while you control a Centurion monster card. So you can like commit your normal summons to like the Centurions first, and then if it gets stopped, you can then play stand up after the fact, which can play on Ogre, which is I think is pretty nice. And then also this card is what allows you to play through your opponent's turn. I actually won like multiple games through D barrier. I think I won almost every single game I got D barrier this event, funny enough, because of stand up Centurion, where like I hand my opponent, they like thrust for a barrier, and I was like, okay, sure, no problem. I'll search Phalanx, set up so that I can Synchro Summon on their turn, or sometimes I just OTK them, quite frankly. But yeah, stand up Centurion is actually amazing. One of my favorite field spells, for sure right now. And then of course we have 3 Emblems Oath. This card is also really really crazy, and now it's guys finally searchable. This card can either place a Centurion monster from your deck in the spell and trap zone, or you can set any Centurion spell and trap directly from your deck. So I think this card is like everything you want in a card. It's a starter, it's an extender, it's an extra interruption. Just overall amazing card. So these are like your 13 starters, right? So these all do the 1 card combo. And then we're gonna get into some more stuff. We have Centurion Autry and Centurion Gargoyle. These are basically like engine requirements that you have to play in the deck in order to have your deck function. Oh, sorry guys, one more shout out. Huge shouts to Sintoli and Rayhan. I also like talked to them about the event, and then also like Cam, who also like helped me test this event as well. And then of course like Sam. I always test with these guys like for events. But yeah, like I said, if you guys want to be part of like the testing group, then obviously join the Metafy in the description box below. But yeah, to continue with the rest of this, yeah, we have Centurion Autry. This card came out in info. And this card basically is like a Heat Soul. It draws you a card whenever you have an emblem in your graveyard alongside a Centurion card. So this card basically is what allows you to get multiple draws. Then you have Centurion Gargoyle. Gargoyle is basically better than MF. And then you have Wake Up Centurion, which allows you to do this card lets you play under Shifter, because when you get Shifted, Wake Up Centurion can summon a token, the level 8 token, and then make Oxella and then search the field spell. And then Oxella can place a Centurion monster in the spell and traps off of itself. And then you have Centurion Bonds. This card is amazing. I thought this card was like I wanted to cut this card when I first picked up the deck, but then I was like, bro, I just didn't know the lines. That was the issue why I wanted to cut it. But then after I figured out some of the lines with Bonds, it made it so every time you open like these weird combinations of like Gargoyle or Autry in your hand, Bonds just lets you play through them. Bonds is also really cool because when it's in the graveyard, you can use it to chain block your Legacia on your opponent's turn when you make it. Because whenever a Centurion monster is synchro summoned, you can banish it to place any Centurion monster in the spell and trap zone. So the fact that it allows you to extend when you open really awkward, as well as it helps you play through Ash Blossom on your Legacia is really, really nice as well. And then you have double Phalanx. I play 2. A lot of people play 1. The reason why I play 2 is because I think it's a really good card to just open. So when you go first and you open Phalanx, it's a free discard. So basically when you only play 1, it becomes kind of a brick if you draw it. And you have to find creative ways to get out of your hand. But I figured that I just play 2 because I like ending on it. Because against like the Yubel matchup, for example, if you Phalanx your opponent's Phantom of Yubel, it doesn't come back during the next summon phase because it wasn't properly summoned. And then this card, when you can banish it from the graveyard to reborn any Centurion Synchro, which is kind of like the main combo line now. You use Wake Up and then to send the Phalanx, and use Phalanx to kind of reborn a Centurion Synchro monster from your graveyard. So this is kind of like pretty much yeah, this is pretty much like the lineup. So these are your Centurion lineup. As you guys can see, I would say they're all pretty much mandatory. Second Phalanx is optional, but I really, really like 2. I think it's really good, especially in the grind game as well. And then we have like the other sub engine. I played only the Lebellion package, right? And then I played 1 regain, and then I played the 3 bestials. So basically I wanted like a level 8 engine, a sub engine, which in this case is Lebellion, that allowed me to push through an Imprimer Veiler on Primera. But also the fact that these are also serves as non-engine into boards, right? So the bestials are just really, really good at dealing with, I believe, the Azamina cards, because of the fact that like you can target like the Azamina fusion when they try to like add back the fusion spell. And the bestials are just really good. They have a lot of really good synergy with the deck because they allow you to make Chaos Angel, and I think like that was like the main selling point for these cards. And I knew I wanted to play bestials in the deck just because it works really well with the Centurion cards. I think Chaos Angel won me so many games off of it alone. And Branded Regain allows you to do there's like a draw 6 combo. I literally like freestyled during the tournament where I drew 3 cards on my opponent's turn, another 3 cards on my opponent's turn, where like you draw off Regain, Autry, and then Legacia, and then your opponent's turn you draw off Regain, Autry, Legacia again. So yeah, I think this engine was really, really good. So and then to go into the hand traps, I decided to play obviously the 3 Bisters as you guys see, the 3 Ash Blossom, right, the 3 Effect Veiler, the 2 Ghost Ogre, 2 Nibiru, 2 Mourner, and then we have 3 more permanents, right? So we played 18 hand traps. I think this was the reason why I did so well. A lot of people just decided to main deck FUWALOS, but I decided not to main deck FUWALOS because I think the card is just not really that good in the main deck. A lot of times my issue with FUWALOS is that you get 1 or 2 draws off it, but your deck's engine isn't really that good at going second. So I'd rather just kind of like hard stop my opponent instead of letting them get to a half board. So like in Centurion, for example, like if I like FUWALOS or Pearling my opponent, it would be in game 2 where I sided in, because I want to have, you know, like 25, like I want to draw into like hand traps, not like and then not like not like draw into like more like engine cards. So that's why I think they were like way better post side. I decided to play like the two ogre, the two nib, and the two mourner, because I just want like, these are like kind of hard once per turn hand traps, so I wanted diversity in hand traps. You know, Ash is an exception because I think Ash is like the best generic one, so I don't mind playing 3 of it. But the 3 Veil, 3 Imperms are like hand traps that you can use if you even draw multiples of. But these are hand traps that like literally, if you draw multiples of them, it's really bad because it's like you play with a 4-card hand, right? And so I really wanted to avoid that, so I decided to play the 2 Mourner, the 2 Ogre, and 2 Nib, and they worked really well for me. Nib is really good too because if you draw going first, like you pretty much auto win because they just can never clear your board and then play around Nib. Mourner was really good because they were like the 7th and 8th copy of Veiler and Imperm, which was insane to the Azamina deck. Like I literally did not lose to a single Snake Eyes, and I beat like I think 5 Snake Eyes opponents. So like it was honestly, the Snake Eye match was like really free when you have like the Veiler, the Imperms, and the Mourners. And then Ogre was just like, because it was overall very good into like random rogue decks. It was good into like the Azamina engine. Because if you stop the Asmine engine, then they don't have an Omni negate. So like then you have like Nib, Veiler, or Imperm, or Ash or something, and then it just like worked really well into the rest of their deck. So yeah, that's why I thought these hand trap line was really good. I know it looks really weird to see that this is probably one of the few decks that top the YCS without main deck FUWALOS, but I think it actually made a lot of sense because when you go first and you get stopped, which my deck doesn't really play through like that many hand traps, right? I don't want to be sitting on dead cards. I'd rather have live hand traps to make it so they pass back to me. And I think that strategy worked really well. I know it's like very counterintuitive, but the more I thought about it, like I think it just made the most sense. And like I said, I think this deck was a really good meta call because I knew people would main deck it, even though I didn't necessarily agree with the fact that they were main decking FUWALOS. Because literally all my opponents who FUWALOS pro'd me game 1, they all lost because literally they're not getting a lot of draws. And the cards that they're drawing off FUWALOS was never gonna break my board pretty much. So now we're gonna get into the side deck. So the side deck, of course, we have the 3 new Mochomi FUWALOS, and then we have the new Mochomi Perulia, right? So I do side 6 of these. The main reason for this is because, like I said, I keep the 18 hand traps. If you guys are interested in the side pattern, you can check out the classroom. But basically, I go to like about 24 to 27 hand traps. So I go from 18 to 24. And I honestly do believe that the Mochomis in my deck are a lot more impactful because I have 18 hand traps on top of the Mochomi, not 18 hand traps including Mochomi. And that's a very important distinction because when these cards resolve, I'm drawing like infinite ways to keep stopping my opponent. So yeah, I think that's just really good. And then I played 3 Retail C. I think this is like kind of like the secret goo. The reason why this is so good is because like the decks that like you can't really hand trap consistently are the fusion decks, right? Like Branded, Fiendsmith, Chimera, and Retail C just basically macrocosmos them and then stops them from pushing forward. Because you know how hard it is to hand trap the Fiendsmith Chimera deck. And then not only that, Retail C was also really good into the Azamina Snake Eyes deck because the new combo line with the deck is you go Witch, set Deception, you Deception, tribute the Witch, you search Sacred Azamina, then Sacred Azamina. You can chain Retail C to it to macrocosmos your opponent. And because the cards off Sacred Azamina is not hitting the graveyard, they won't be able to special summon the fusion monster. And then Retail C is really strong because it's a level 4 monster. So if you 6 on the board and they pass, you can then normal summon a Primera. You go Primera effect. They can't Veiler you under the Retail C because it macrocosmos everything while it's face up on the board. And then you're able to search the stand up. Then you can link Synchro Summon using the Primera and the Retail C into a Primera Primus. And then even if they hand trap you and Veiler you there, you already got access to your field spell because of the Primera resolving. So this card just had a lot of like really neat applications that I really liked. And also, Retail C is also good into like the runic decks, obviously. So if they activate any of the runic cards, you know, it would automatically get banished, or like usually if they have to get the effect to summon, obviously. But yeah, so cover the runic matchup, fusion matchups, and then of course like Snake Eyes. Then for going first, so this is gonna look a little bit weird, but I decided to side well, this is not weird at all, but I think this is the best floodgate of the format, deck lockdown. This deck has a very cool interaction with this. And then of course there can only be one. But basically, deck lockdown says neither play can add cards from the deck to their hand except by drawing them, and monsters can always special summon from their main deck. The thing is, I knew that a lot of people would be on back row removal. And even if they were, right, it didn't matter. Well, why? Because Centurion, like Moxilla, right, says all face-up spells and trap cards that you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So this is, or cannot be destroyed by card effects. And this is really important because when you have deck lockdown with Moxilla, they can't lightning storm your back row against to get rid of your deck lockdown or duster you. And then if they try to get rid of Oxilla, they can't because Primera has a secret effect in the spell and trap zone. It says that like your Centurion monsters that are level 5 or higher cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. So they couldn't write Geki to clear Oxilla, and they couldn't Storm to clear deck lockdown. So it was a nice, it's a very good lock against like Tenpai. And so I'll be honest, guys, I have like a 90-10 Tenpai matchup. Like I'm talking about like my opponents in testing would open like Shifter, FUWALOS, Lightning Storm, Raigeki, Chandra, Field Spell, and they would lose. Like literally, I'm not even like, I wish I was exaggerating. But you know, the inner circle people have seen the replays. They've seen what I've showed them, and literally this deck just destroys like Tenpai. And I wanted to beat that deck, guys, because that deck has robbed me of so much sometimes. So I wanted to beat it. And then they're gonna be winners for obviously like Yubel matchup and then Tenpai matchup. So there's that. And then this is gonna look really weird, but I thought this was like the goo, some deck building goo. So basically, like, you know, I obviously already consider that these are the best going first cards for the deck, but instead of trying to side more go first cards like Judgment, Strikes, or like, you know, I don't know, like anti-spell, skill drain, or something like that, I wanted to side more ways to play the game. Because I think that like you can't just floodgate your opponent, hope to win off the backbone of floodgating your opponent. You also need to access your engine. So I decided to side a Bonfire to get the 14 copy of one card starter because again at Yugioh, and I decided Prosperity because honestly, if you have 14 one card starters in your deck, you're probably gonna hit one of these. And the thing is, they should be siding Joel against your deck. So that's why these cards are a lot better post side, because people take Joel out of their deck against you. But even if they have Joel, the deck can still play under Joel. It's just more of the fact that, like, you know, I think Joel is less impactful post side because they should just be taking out of their deck. And then also Prosperity is more copies of like any floods. And then it's just more copies of like a starter. And then yeah, Bonfire is just also Bonfire just gets you the true data. But it's also really important. The reason why I cited these two and why I thought they were really important is because, like, you know, when you go first, right, like one of your lose conditions is not seeing engine. That's totally how I lost in top 16, guys. I literally just went first and said, yep, you pass, you could go. And so I even try to mitigate some of the consistencies, like concerns I had with this deck. But yeah, the other thing is that Bonfire and Prosperity are cards that helps you play when you get shifted, right? So like being able to increase your starter count under shifter is really important too. So that's why I cited this, because you know Tenpai would probably still try to shifter you. But yeah, so that's why I cited two consistency cards for going first that I thought were just better than trying to play like a floodgate, more floodgates, or more like, you know, go super heavy go first card. So these cards are really good. I actually drew this against Jesse, which I thought was really funny. And Jesse was like, "Well, you play that?" And I'm like, "Bro, it feels so weird bonfiring for like not a Snake Eye Ash." But I did do that, and I guess and then yeah, the proper Prosperity is just like pretty much laying a card in your deck. So let's get into the extra deck. So you play the one Typhon. You know, this is a hand trap board type of deck. So Typhon lets you come out on top in a lot of grind games, especially against like SP. Then of course you have to play SP Little Knight. You play IP Masquerena, and then we play Artemis. Shout out to Marco from Italy for giving this to me as a gift. But yeah, so these are all really good. IP is a card that you end on quite a lot, especially if you get hand trapped. And then if you open Lebellion plus any one card starter, you end on IP on top of your board for free, which is really, really good removal. And then you have SP Little Knight obviously for removal. Artemis is a card that can link off the Primera, that you can link off the Primera into Artemis. And then you can go into SP Little Knight after the fact to banish a card. You can also do it with Effect Veiler, which came up for me where I opened Lebellion and Effect Veiler, and I linked off the Veiler into an Artemis so that I can SP my opponent. Then we played Scarlight. Basically, it's a way to nuke your opponent's board, especially main phase 1. Could be important. Never really came up for me, but thought it'd be useful to have it. Played 2 Centurion, Primera Primus. Guys, cards like Omega Custom. I don't even know what to tell you. I played 2. I see a lot of people online are playing 1. I really do think 2 is really good because you make 1 going first, and then if it gets stopped, you can make a second one on your opponent's turn. Why is this card so good, and why is it a 2 of? Well, first off, when you're locking into Centurions off of like when you're logging into Centurions, or like you can only access like a Synchro 8 or Synchro 12 on your opponent's turn, but you don't already have a 12 up. Legacia and Auxilla, right, are not, or Legacia is an interruption on your opponent's turn because you pop a card and you draw a card. Auxilla just searches you a card. Well, Premier Primus, not only does it search Oath, it has the ability to pop 1 card in your field and 1 card in your opponent's side of the field. So the fact that this card is a removal for like the 10 by field spell, or like it can be used to pop Nightmare Pain, is I think just too good. So you know, this card only gets rid of monsters. This card could be monsters or spells and traps. So that's why this card is a 2 of in my opinion. And then for this other Centurion synchros, I played double Legacia and then 1 Auxilla. The reason why you have to play double Legacia, in my opinion, is because so like Oath 1 card combo ends on both Auxilla and Legacia face up. So sometimes you want to make a Legacia on the turn 3, or if you want to make a second Legacia on your opponent's turn. So that's like the main reason why. And yeah, I find myself going for Legacia Auxilla a lot actually, just because like I like having both the big 12s on the board, and the what do you call it, the draw is like really useful because like I said, you play 18 hand traps in the main deck, you're drawing only just hand traps, to be honest. 99% of the time it's just really good. So yeah, those are the Centurions. Oh, also the other reason is because of Unicorn. So like basically playing multiples of this and multiple of this made it so that people played Unicorn and they, like, you know, played our YCS Cancun list. Like having doubles of these are really good. I don't really mind if they rip Auxilla. If they do, having like 2 of this and 2 of this was, in my opinion, still really good. Because you know, Unicorn is when they would have gone first. So Green would go second with these. I thought were like better. Like you don't really need Auxilla to go second, but you know, Legacia and Premier Primus to clear their board and search and break their board is more important than the 1 Auxilla. So that's why Auxilla is the 1 of. And then we have some more synchros. I played Chaos Angel. This card is just phenomenal. When you make it with a light and dark, it's really hard for a lot of decks out in this format. So that's why it's really strong. You play the Spotter, because we play the Bestial package, and there's a really cool play where you can like use the Bestial to actually banish a Legacia or an Auxilla, and then you can use this Potter to summon the Legacia or the Auxilla back from the banish and then trigger them. I thought it was really nice. I mean, at that point you Omega win, but in the grind games, these cards are just like ways like you like pretty much like establish like game. And then of course we have the Crimson Dragon, and then we have the 2 Cosmic Blazars, guys. This is why I think this deck is absurdly broken right now. This is like the best Omni-Negate in the game at the moment, in my opinion, because it banishes itself for cost and it just comes back against like the 10 pie matchup. You can actually banish this to negate an attack. You can also use this to negate a summon, and so like they have like the 10 pie field spell up. You can use Quasar to negate the summon, so that it bypasses the field spell protection, which is crazy. And of course, it's Omni-Negate for literally anything. If you have 2 in rotation, I've never lost. And yeah, every 1 card combo ends on double Blazar now, which is pretty much game. You can also, another cool thing that people don't know is that if they try to Typhon you to out this can also negate the summon a Typhon, because Typhon hasn't actually hit the board yet, so you could use the effect of it, which is also just really crazy. But yeah, so that's pretty much the extra deck. You'll see that some considerations is I don't play Red Hot Supernova. Honestly, guys, literally never missed that card ever. Don't really think you need it, so that's why I didn't play it. And then I'm trying to think if I didn't play anything else. Oh yeah, there's also Chen Ying. I didn't play Chen Ying because, in my opinion, whenever I had access to a Synchro 10, I prefer to go into these 2. I just thought that they were way better. I think Chen Ying only comes up against like the Fire King matchup, but there's a lot of like cool interactions you could do with Chaos Angel, and a lot of cool things you can do with like, you know, there's just like other things you could do instead that like honestly I didn't really feel like I needed. I'd rather just have ways to beat like Unicorn, and you know, the other stuff just came up for me way better. So yeah. But yeah, this is pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. And if you guys want more explanations, any of that good stuff, any questions you want to have, let me know in the comment section below. Join the classroom. You guys get ahead, guys. I know there's more YCS coming in Ecuador and Bologna. If you guys want to get ready for that, let me know. Love to work with you. And yeah, don't forget to check out txspoon.com and use pack 10 for our the newest accessory, the newest latest products. Guys, Sam, when are you gonna put this out, guys? Like everyone at the YCS was gassing me about this. This new Supreme Pro Mini.
Sure.
Yo, guys, look at this. This is like the best deck box. I love it. It's so small, it's so light. Look, I pretty much fit my entire deck in this, right? Main, side, and extra deck. And yeah, just very light, very compact. We call it what? The Supreme Pro Minis.
Supreme Pro Mini, SP Minis.
Yeah, SP Minis.
Soon, guys.
Yeah, soon. Yo, guys.
Soon, I don't even know.
Bro, you have to put out for the market for this. You want, like, I feel like.
How do you have this and I don't?
Bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't worry about that. But yeah, guys, this is beautiful. When it finally comes out, it's gonna be so hype. Like I said, I've been using it for the last 2 YCs. I used it at Cancun. I used it at Niagara. Everyone was like coming to like, yo, like what, like is that like part of the Supreme Pro merch line? I'm like, yeah, but you know, Sam's been, he's just been holding out on y'all. So when that finally does come live, guys, get ready, spam the pack 10s, and then yeah, of course, guys, thank you so much. Love y'all, and hope you have a good day. Peace.